Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's check out Akaiito HD Remaster running on Nintendo Switch. Okay.
スキップ文字表示の速さを設定できるよ。スキップの設定ができるよ。自動スキップの設定。お箸とお茶碗両ありだと登録される単語の色が変わるんだよ。使っているテレビに合わせてね、人ごとにありなし設定ができたりするよ。音楽の音量はちょうどいい？効果音はこんなものかな。人ごとにありなし設定ができたりするよ。
Still pretty loud, but I think this is more tolerable.
急に震えるとびっくりするよね。赤い糸。
Alright, let's check it out. Wish I could get rid of the background. Trees. So many trees. These towering trees have spread their branches to their heart's content, almost blocking out the entire sky. That was so deep, in a grove or a forest perhaps, ancient trees stood together around the narrow path laden with bamboo, grass and foliage that I took. I turned around, and I saw a roof lined with tiles. Despite not having a magnificent gate as a mansion in a period drama would have, it was nonetheless a respectable residence. It was a large single-story Japanese mansion. The building next to it was probably a shed. Inhabitants in a mansion like this must come from a family of prestige and fame. The crisp sound of a bell made me spin around. Someone was dragging me by my hand and spurring me to go faster. The incline of the path gradually steepens. Ah, so I am on a mountain. And I am being led on the mountain trail by the hand. Although the path hasn't been paved, it was trail nonetheless. And yet we veered off it for some reason and pressed forward by parting the wild growth in our way. Hurry, hurry, faster, faster. The hand pulling mine tugged at me even harder. Is something chasing us? Why are we in such a hurry? Okay. I stomped on the grass beneath my feet as I ran forward. Shuffling noises. Zah. Suddenly my field of vision blew wide open. I also realized that we were about halfway up the mountain. Far ahead of us stood a magnificent tree that must have withstood the elements for hundreds of years. It was so tall that I had to look up in order to appreciate it in its full glory. As if the other trees around it stood in reverence and awe of its presence, the area around it is slightly open. Zah! The wind blew and shook the flowers that bloomed on that tree. I seem to have seen this scenery before, but I can't recall where. Could I have seen it on TV or in a movie? No, that couldn't be it. I knew deep down that that could not be the case. This scene before me. This is where I have lost someone who was incredibly dear to me. Petals fluttering like butterflies. I was struck by a bizarre feeling of déjà vu and disillusionment. Why am I feeling this way? And although I have yet to realize it thus far, and yet, the scenery, this world, it suddenly seems distant and blurry, as if I am watching it through a fish tank that has been tainted by red ink. The image was wavering endlessly for some reason. The moment I paid attention to it, I was no longer able to contain my curiosity. For some reason, the red hue seemed to thicken. When I strained to see, a sharp pain came from the depth of my eyes. You mustn't. I could feel the call of someone trying to warn me. You mustn't. I am being called. Someone is calling out to me. You mustn't. You cannot stay here. You cannot go that way. If you go, there will be no coming back. In a fit of panic, I scrounged for my cell phone when I realized I had forgotten to set it into silent mode. And at that moment of realization, my right hand found my ringing device. I was relieved to find that no one looked unhappy.
Hi, もしもし。やっほー、ハトちゃん。ヨコちゃん。
The caller on the other end of the line is my classmate, Nara Yoko. By the way, my name is Hato Kai, and my seat number in class is just next to hers, and that's how our friendship started. Hato isn't my first name, but my family name.
元気だった？なんとかね、バタバタしてたのも一段落ついたし。そう、ならちょうどよかった。さすがは私、絶妙なタイミング。
She really believes that. If she's so good at it, she wouldn't have jostled me awake.
にしてもハトちゃん久しぶり。まあね、1週間ぶりぐらい。
Although it hasn't been that long, it felt like I haven't seen her for quite a while. Could it be because we are in the middle of our summer vacation? No, that's not it. I think it's because of how much had happened to me.
で、ハトちゃん、今暇？暇といえば暇かな。よーそろ、それはよかった。てっきりお邪魔だったかと。ん？心のステディ陽子さんがハトちゃんのためだけに送る愛の電波放送でも始めようかなとか思って電話。うん。寝てたでしょ、ハトちゃん。あ、なんでわかったの
Could I have made a slip without realizing? Gave away what was on my mind?
まったく、大口ポカーンと開けて寝てるんじゃないわよ。いいわ。私口なんて開けてた。悲しいけど、自分のことが一番見えないものなのよね。ほら、よだれの跡を拭いて。
I put my hand next to my mouth. My handkerchief. Where is it?
そっちじゃなくて、逆サイド。
I wiped it on the other side of my mouth.
取れた？
Was that Yoko-chan's stifled laughter I heard? Does this mean... have I been had? Now that I think about it, even if I had been drooling, just assuming, there was no way she could have seen it.
陽子ちゃん。いやいや、ハトちゃんってほんと面白いね。さすが私のおもちゃ1号認定機。
And she was saying something rather mean about me. That's probably my cue to end the call.
それで、何のよ？そうそう。今暇だったら明日も暇でしょ？私も暇だし、一緒にどっか遊びに行こうよ。無理。
I tried my best to answer in a cold, nonchalant tone.
無理です。
I topped it off with the polite form to give her the stranger treatment.
いじけた？
Somebody is sulking. Are you upset?
ムカついた。ごめんごめん。明日終わるから許してちょ。
Yes.
そこまで言うんなら許すのにやぶさかじゃないんだけど。サンキュー。ハトちゃん愛してる。奮発してお昼にデザートまでつけちゃうよ。景気がいいね、陽子ちゃん。パパママ2人旅行中のとこ、私は残ってお留守番なもんで、その分ちょこっと臨時収入だね。陽子ちゃんは連れて行ってもらえなかったの？
Judging from her tone, I got the feeling that I probably shouldn't press the issue.
それで陽子ちゃん暇なんだ。
まあね。じゃあ明日の10時に。
ごめん、やっぱり明日は無理。
なんでよ。
今そっちにいないから。言うなれば留守中？
ハトちゃん、今どこいるの？
電車の中、ゴトゴト言ってるの聞こえない？
The vibrations of the train that came from the iron rails have a rhythm much like that of a heartbeat. Maybe it's because of this reassuring cradle-like rocking that drove me asleep. Or I could have simply been too tired.
どうかな？聞こえないなら床に携帯近づけるよ。
いやいい。なんとなく聞こえた。でも電車の中にしちゃやけに静かじゃない？
ガラガラなんだ。ボックス席占領っていうか、1車両独占。
I got up to double check. I was right, there was no one else but me. That is also the reason why I am able to talk on my cell phone at regular volume, as I am the only passenger in the entire car. I, Hatokai, disapprove the inconsiderate act of bothering other fellow passengers in the train by talking loudly on the phone, but that's beside the point for now.
すごいよ。隣の車両にも誰もいないみたい。
夏休み真っ盛りのこの時間帯にその状況って一体どういう路線なの？
すっごいローカル。
端的な説明ありがとう。少なくとも近場じゃないのね。
うん、遠い遠い。今日はもうずっと電車に乗りっぱなし。
And thanks to that, my buttocks are hurting a little.
それはハトちゃんご苦労様。で、そこまでしていく目的地って？
ヘミズカってところ。お父さんの実家があるんだって。
ハトちゃん、それってどういうこと？パパさんの実家って。
Her voice got so loud that it made my ears ring. I was just going to visit my father's house. Why such a dramatic reaction? Or so you would be inclined to think under normal circumstances. However, my current circumstances can hardly be called normal. My father has been gone for a long time, and I can't even remember his face. Yoko-chan is also aware of this. I used to be in a single-parent family. I use the past tense because this summer my mother... She wasn't met with any unfortunate accident. She just seemed to be a little unwell, and yet she passed away so quietly and unexpectedly. Apparently her cause of death was exhaustion.
もしかして引っ越すつもり？学校なんかも変わったりするの？
それはないと思うよ。おじいちゃんとか親戚がいるわけじゃないから、住むのが。
Upon hearing my carefree tone, I could hear a long sigh of relief from Yoko-chan.
だったらなんで？
なんかね、私に残された遺産だなんだを調べてたら、ヘミズカの家があったんだって。
The tax counselor who took care of these things for me told me about the house, and I also received the key. Since a lot of things and paperwork are tied to relevant taxes, I was advised to make a quick decision on whether I inherit the house or forfeit it.
それで、とりあえず見に行こうかなって。
大変なのね、ハトちゃんも。
大変だよ。
暇だし夏だし休みだし、言ってくれれば付き合ったのに。
あ、その手があったか。
I hit my knee at this sudden moment of epiphany.
知らない場所に一人で行くのって結構緊張するんだよ。
緊張してる人はよだれ垂らして眠りこけたりはしないんじゃないかな。
だからよだれなんて。あれ？陽子ちゃん？陽子ちゃん？
No response. I must have reached an area with very poor or no signal reception. I should try to call back. It's not working. I sighed and turned my gaze to the view outside the window in the setting sun, and I was surprised how much the scenery has changed. As the sun went lower, a somber hue that was the mixture of green and orange scattered across the
お
horizon.
父さんのいな かか。
For someone who has grown accustomed to a stiff world of glass, concrete, and asphalt, the scene that is unfolding before my eyes struck me with a feeling of novelty. I took a quick look at my cell phone to check the time and realized how much time had already elapsed since I last looked. I should be approaching my destination fairly soon. Chug chug. I adjusted my posture so my body could sink deeper into my seat and sway along with the rhythm of the train. Chug chug. Thanks to the hypnotic combination of the evening sun and the steady rocking of the train, my eyelids closed once more. Chug chug. Eventually, the light of the evening sun aligned with my line of sight. It shone through the blood vessels underneath my eyelids and dyed my world in a vermilion haze. I dreamed again, and it was a dream in red. I mean, so far I like the setup. It's a good introduction. You can tell the character art is like kind of an older style, but it's touched up. Not touched up enough to make it in 16:9, but you know, I think the upscaling is pretty good. It is kind of funny to see this much older style with the really large eyes and the very narrow chins, triangle-ish chins. Yeah. Obviously, this kind of art style isn't really that popular anymore. Still see it on occasion. But this used to be what all manga looked like. And back in the late 80s, early 90s. This is the second of some Success HD remasters that they released today on the Switch. I wasn't really familiar with the other one, and this one sounded a little bit more intriguing, but there is another HD remaster out there, which I probably won't cover, unless folks out there really want me to. Certainly let me know if that's the case. When I alighted from the train after having been woken up by the announcer's voice, it was completely dark outside. Being unused to travel and having to carry a large luggage, just walking with it dotted my forehead with sweat. Relative to the city where I live, this area is quite a bit farther north, and it should be cooler in climate, or so I had naively thought. Apparently there isn't much of a difference. Having just slept in the air-conditioned car of a train, I found the significant difference in temperature to be rather intolerable. Unable to bear the weight of my luggage, I slouched and hunched my back. My posture must seem rather unsightly in the eyes of others. But since there's no one around me, I didn't really care. Judging by how empty the train car had been, I must be the only passenger to drop off in such a rural place, I think. I put down my luggage and patted my lower back and waist like an old lady. I twisted my upper body to stretch myself. And I froze in my silly stretch. I heard the footsteps of someone coming towards me. The footsteps sounded like someone walking in confident strides. Apparently, I wasn't the only person to get off from the station. From that dimly lit concourse of the train station that seemed darker than the moonlight night, the silhouette of someone emerged as if from the surface of water. And that stranger entered my field of vision. A person who walked in an impeccable posture. It was more than just her superb posture. Her whole demeanor and the air around her felt distinctly different. It was akin to an actress who had just taken the stage and in the limelight. Her presence was breathtaking and simply out of the ordinary. I couldn't help but stare at her in utter fascination. She was clad in a blazer jacket and short skirt, both in black, her legs protruding from her skirt. were concealed in stockings, and they seemed to melt into the darkness of the night. At first glance, she was dressed completely in black. Upon closer look, she was actually wearing an ordinary school uniform. In fact, her outfit was almost identical to the uniforms of renowned private schools I had seen on TV. If so, that would mean that we were about the same age, but I would rather not compare myself with her. In contrast to how collected and poised she seems, I must look rather frivolous and unreliable, even though I really have to get my act together from here on. Disheartened, I lowered my head aside. Even her voice sounded so cool and calm. Wait, that's not it. I lifted my head in a panic and found myself stopping just a few steps away, her glance casted towards me. Her long, slanted black eyes were staring straight into mine. Apart from my initial impression of her impeccable posture, her incredibly beautiful face was another feature that struck me. More importantly, her gaze felt penetrating and forceful. I'm feeling so stressful. I guess I finally had first-hand experience of how much of an impact one could achieve with the simple act of staring. On the way, she was... the way she was staring at me, I couldn't even say something coherent. That said, I was being the ill-mannered one, who not only stared at her, but also sighed at her. Even though I had no bad intentions, I couldn't deny that my ridiculous contact might have offended her. Oh, we even have, like, eye and lip movements. It's been so long since I've seen a visual novel that wasn't on the kinetic engine that had this. Before my mind could turn into a blank sheet of white and stop functioning, I managed a hurried bow, picked up my belongings, and sprinted for the ticket examination gate. I ran so fast that I couldn't even feel the weight of my luggage. She probably thinks I'm a weirdo or something. What should I do? What should I do? Why did I act that way? Well, what has happened, and they say that whatever embarrassment you bring to yourself while traveling can't be tossed to the wind, right? I pulled myself together and took out the bus ticket from my purse. I had put it there so that I wouldn't accidentally lose...
Oh, 確かに。至る Hemizuka 駅までだ。
The station worker commented as he took my ticket and checked the boarding and alighting stations.
こんな偏僻なところに若いお嬢さん一人とは珍しい。
Seeing the station worker clipping my ticket by hand has a distinctive retro feel that you hardly find anywhere else. Even the station worker himself carried a certain panache that really accentuated how old school the scene felt. He conducted himself as an elderly gentleman, and he definitely had the age to show for it. Maybe the legal age of retirement in this part of the country is different from other regions.
お嬢さん家出かね。
He ventured to guess as he glanced at my bulging luggage. His glance told me he wasn't convinced. Come on, I was telling the truth.
それではあれだ。こっちに親戚の家でもあるのかな。
そんな感じです。お父さんの実家がこっちにあるんで。
なるほど。何もないところだけど、ゆっくりしていきなさい。
Although we only met for the first time, the way he spoke to me like a friendly acquaintance was rather refreshing experience. At least I would never have imagined something like this to happen at the station I commute to school. Then again, I guess automatic ticketing gates aren't built to chat with consumers. Even though I hadn't planned on staying long, I felt obliged to reciprocate his kind intentions by saying, "Sure thing," in good spirits at that moment. Coming from behind me was the cool voice that I had heard moments ago. I could feel the blood rushing to my earlobes as they burned red. But that was to be expected. For such a small train station, there could only be one ticket office, and it's only natural for her to show up as well. I feel like flames could burst from my face. In order to not get in her way, I made way for her to get through. She took a small step forward and handed her ticket to the station worker. As he accepted her ticket, the station worker said,
おやおや、こんな偏僻なところに若いお嬢さん一人とは珍しい。
Eh? Isn't that the same thing he said to me when I gave him my ticket?
そうですか。 もしかしてこっちに実家があるのかな。
Was he just saying that as a standard greeting as part of his job?
いえ、少々用事がありまして。
ほほう、それはそれは。
The two seem to have started talking about something, but I have better things to do than just observing them. It appears that it will take 30 minutes by bus from here to my father's house. It's a station worker. I wasn't able to put my heart at ease and hopped onto a bus without double-checking everything. I already had a track record of boarding a bus by intuition and falling asleep during the ride, only to be woken up by the driver when the ride had taken me to the terminal station, which was very far away from my destination. To be honest, the trauma of that experience still haunts me even now. At any rate, it would be prudent for me to check with someone who knows this area before I hop onto a bus. It's not like it'll take me much time. Be that as it may, I couldn't find anyone else whom I could ask for directions at the station. Although the station worker would probably be my safest bet, he was unfortunately still in the middle of a conversation. Could the station worker have gotten chattier when he is faced with a beautiful girl? Well, I could have stayed put and wait for their conversation to end, but my curiosity got the better of me and prompted me to edge a little closer to them.
さて、どうだったかな。
The station worker tilted his head and was apparently lost in thought. As for the girl, she was apparently asking him a question while showing something in her hand. Could she be asking for directions, as I intended to do? I tiptoed so that I could see from over her shoulder and get a peek at what she had in her hand. It was a photograph. Judging from the fact that the boy wasn't looking at me, i.e. the camera, the photo might have been taken without the boy knowing.
悪いけど覚えがないね。
そうですか。
見ての通り、見知った顔を合わせても出入りの多くない駅だから、通ればまあ交通手段は他にもバスとかあるわけだから来ているかもしれないんだけどね。
そうですか。
Somehow, the whole thing was starting to feel like a scene of interrogation from a detective drama. Could it be that she has come here in pursuit of the boy in the photograph? What sort of relationship do they have? Siblings? Lovers? They might even be engaged to one another. But no matter what relationship they have, it had quite a romantic ring to it for someone like me, who has always lived an ordinary life. Well, that's not exactly true. My current situation could be considered to be a little removed from commonplace. Oh, it appears that while my imagination was running wild, they had already ended their conversation.
ありがとうございました。
ああ、力になれなくてすまんね。
お気になさらず。それでは。
She put the picture away and bowed to the station worker. With one smooth motion, she turned around and walked out of the station. She had such a gallant and majestic demeanor.
おや、お嬢さんまだいたのかい。
Having been entranced by the sight of that girl, the voice of the station worker pulled me back to reality.
はい、ちょっと
I simply mumbled my words and searched for the memo where I had written down the address to my father's house.
少々お尋ねしたいことがありまして。
まあ何でも尋ねてみなさい。答えられるかどうかはともかく、せっかくよそから訪ねてきてくださったお客さんだ。
どうもありがとうございます。
Where on earth did I put my memo? This can't be happening.
ちょっと待ってください。
I knew the moment I fret and panic, the more likely I would flail my hands in vain. I scrounged my pockets. It wasn't in my purse or my ticket wallet. And the moment I opened my bag, the contents of my overstuffed bag spewed out from it. All my belongings were all over the place. I think I wasn't able to hold back my tears completely.
もしかしてお嬢さんも人探しか何かかな。
そういった話とは縁遠いもので。
では何かね。
家の方向に行くバスの乗り場を教えてもらおうかと思って。
それで
住所を書いたメモを探してるんですけど。
I can't find it anywhere. Maybe I should call the tax counselor and have her give me the address again. I reached for my cell phone, which was in my pocket. My phone. Oh. Ah, now I remember. Since I knew I could easily misplace a handwritten memo, I had put it in my phone's contacts.
ありました。
それはよかった。さて、お嬢さんはどこまで行きたいのかね。
I held up my phone and showed the address being displayed on my cell phone to the station worker.
ここの住所に行きたいんですけど。
なるほど。さすがに都会の子はハイカラなものを持ってるんだね。
いや、そうじゃなくてですね。
It appears that the retro style of this man goes deeper than his appearance. Firstly, the town where I come home is not prosperous enough to be called a city in cell phones nowadays.
みんな持ってますよ。
どうもこの辺りは電波の具合が悪いらしくてね。持っていたところで使えるとは限らんのだよ。
なるほど。
He was right about the signal reception. The phone was picking up just one bar of signal here. Yoko-chan's call was also cut off in mid-conversation.
でもなくて。
ほほう。
That was too close. I almost got off on a tangent.
この住所の近くまで行くとしたら、どのバスに乗ればいいんですか？
ああ、バス停なら駅の前にあるだろう。
I looked in the direction where his finger was pointing. Although it was in front of the train station, but I didn't see any shops, and as such, it was rather dark. I spotted the silhouette of a circle connected to a square on a rod, not unlike an wooden skewer. That seemed to be the bus stop
こ
pole.
こらを走る路線は2本。どちらもあそこのバス停に止まる。
はい。
それでお嬢さんの場合、隣町に向かうので途中下車だね。降り損ねると山を越えてしまうから。降りるところは住所の小技と同じだから。と、そんなことよりお嬢さん。お嬢さん、本気でここに行くつもりなのかね？
そうですけど。何かあるんですか？
その辺りだとあそこ一見きりだから間違いないと思うんだがね。
That means I won't have any neighbors. In other words, the specialty juanshi manju I have brought might have been for nothing. Then again, I can always just eat it as a snack by myself, so it shouldn't be a problem.
そこのお屋敷にはあるんだよ。
何が？
いろいろな噂がね。
Mr. Station Worker, please don't change your voice so gleefully.
確か10年ぐらい前だったか。住んでいた家族が神隠しにあって消えてしまったとか。
引っ越ししただけなんじゃ。
いやいや、実は殺人事件があったなんて噂も立ったぐらいだよ。
嘘。
本当さ。とはいえ、その家のお嬢さんが訪ねてきたってことは、噂は噂に過ぎないってことかな。
He wrapped his fist with the palm of his other hand and turned his wrist while wearing a smile on his face.
まったく、脅かさないでください。
すまないね。からかいがいのあるお嬢さんなもんでついつい。
もう、駅員さんがお客をからかってどうするんですか？
そうでもしないと暇で暇で。ところで最近は座敷わらしを見たとか、狐に化かされたとかいう人がいるらしいんだがね。
I get the feeling that I'm being played by a shape-shifting raccoon myself.
その話はもういいです。
そうかね。
隣町行きのバスに乗ればいいんですね。
その通り。今日はもう無理だがね。
は？
さっきバスが出る音聞こえなかったかな？ いや、ちょっと前なんだけどね。
Now that he mentioned it, I did think I heard it.
もしかして。
そう、最終バスの遠ざかる音だ。
まだこんな時間なのに？
It was just around dinner time, and I could understand if small shops chose to close at this time, but it was definitely way too early for the last bus of the day to leave.
何分田舎なもんでね。山向こうの町まで行くから終点までは結構かかるんだよ。第一利用者もいないし。
Indeed, I am the only passenger who would have wanted to board the bus. I can understand why the bus company would want to avoid operating at a loss by increasing the number of bus services, but even so, what should I do now?
お嬢ちゃんは今どうしようかと思っている。
思ってます。
私に良いアイディアがあるんだがね。
いいアイディア？
The sight of his mischievous smile made me take a step back just in case he would try anything funny.
この駅には宿直室なんて洒落たものはないし、老いたり枯れたりとはいえ、男ヤマメの家に引っ張り込むわけにはいかんから。
いかんから？
旅館を紹介してあげようじゃないか。
The idea sounded so ordinary and proper that it struck me by complete surprise.
旅館か。
But if I had to stay at a hotel,
なに、私が口を聞いてあげるから、飛び込みの未成年でも大丈夫さ。宿泊費だってそれほどかからないはずだよ。
he winked at me as if to tell me that he got everything figured out. What should I do now? Now that I have finally come this far, should I head for my house directly? Or should I take his suggestion and stay at the hotel for the night? Taking to the hotel, even if I miss the bus. Well, that's all the way across town. I'm going to go to the hotel. After much deliberation, I decided to ask him to introduce me to the inn. And it was definitely not because I lacked the courage to go to a house with scary rumors in the middle of nowhere on my own, I swear. It was a logical decision that I have arrived after a careful assessment of my current situation.
じゃあ、よろしくお願いします。
The moment I bowed my head, the station worker thumped his chest as a gesture to reassure me that he would take care of the rest.
よしよし、任せたまえ。なに悪いようにはしないから。とりあえず善は急げだな。今ならまだ夕食には間に合うぞ。
He checked the time and promptly jumped up from a seat in the booth and picked up my luggage with one easy motion.
あ、いいんですか？
何がかね？
勝手に持ち場離れちゃって。
大丈夫大丈夫。次の電車は当分後だし、少ない客の大半は定期だから素通りだし。
That is probably the reason why train stations these days no longer need to be manned by staff on active duty. But if that's the case, why wouldn't they make all train stations unmanned? Maybe there are other considerations that I wasn't aware of.
おーい、お嬢さん、どうしたのかね？
The station worker hollered at me from the entrance of the train station. Because I was apparently lost in thought for a moment, he had already gone quite far ahead of me.
いえ、なんでもないです。
I responded energetically and ran up to him.
To いう事情なんだがね。
あらあらあら、それはそれは。
As the station worker recounted my story, the hostess of this place, Sakaki Inn, listened and expressed her sympathy emphatically. I wasn't able to take part in the conversation between them, who seemed to be friends with each other, and I could only nod and respond with when appropriate.
そうそう、あなた、加藤さんでしたっけ？
はい、そうです。
大変だったわね。ここは田舎ですものね。知らなかったらバスがそんなに早く終わっちゃうなんて思う。
はい。
私もここに嫁いできた時はどうしようかと思ったのよね。ほら、テレビのチャンネルも少ないでしょ。
は
To be honest, the number of TV channels available here isn't my biggest concern. The same can't be said about my lodging options, though.
でももう大丈夫よ。あまり若い人向けのところじゃないけど、今日はゆっくりしていってね。
ありがとうございます。
At the very least, I am saved from my predicament. I lowered my head in a bow.
お世話になります。
あらあら、これはご丁寧に。
The hostess remarked while flipping through the pages of the inn's visitor registration book.
まだ若いのにしっかりしてるのね。さっき来た子もそうだけど、やっぱり一人旅をするような子は違うのね。
しっかりしたいんですけどね。
If I were, I don't think I would find myself in my present situation.
それじゃあ、はい。ここに基地をお願いね。
ここですか？
I accepted the visitor registration book and brush pen from the hostess and took care to write my name and address as neatly as I could. Tokai. Here we go. There. From my quick glance on the page, it seemed that there weren't many customers staying at the inn.
はいはい。それじゃあお願いね。
After answering the voice coming from the inner part of the inn, the hostess patted at the sleeves of her kimono.
ちょうど今から夕食なのよ。お部屋に荷物を置いたら広間の方に来てね。
それじゃごちそうになろうか。
あんまりサボっているようだと組合に言いつけますよ。
おっと、それは勘弁。せっかくお客さんを引っ張ってきたっていうのに厳しいな。
The station worker lamented with a defeated look on his face. He scratched his chin and prepared to leave.
またのお越しをお待ちしております。
はいはい。それじゃあお嬢さん、良い滞在を。
After leaving my luggage in the room where the hostess had taken me, I immediately retraced my steps and headed for the dining hall. For similar occasions such as attending a class at school, being acutely aware of my tardiness would cause my heart to race. For someone as timid as I am, I would prefer to avoid such a situation if at all possible. Oh, it's right over there. I took a quick look around and saw 5 or 6 people. None of them had their hands on their chopsticks. It looks like I made it in time.
来た来た。加藤さん、お膳のあるところに適当に座っちゃって。
Urged by the hostess, I headed towards an empty corner without anyone else. Occupying the seat next to mine is a woman. For someone raised in a single-mother family and studying in a single-sex school, I felt at ease with this arrangement. Even from beyond the long hair that covered her back, I could tell she was sitting with her spine straight. I was struck by her proper sitting posture, and needless to say, she was sitting in a flawless textbook Saiza position.
失礼します。
With that simple greeting, I took my seat next to her. Her shiny and straight long hair parted as she turned towards me, revealing her face.
あなたでしたか。
Her cool voice made my heart skip a beat. Her fair complexion was complemented by her jet black flowing hair. Not only that, her milky white skin formed a perfect contrast with her obsidian irises. It was the girl I met at the train station.
ご一緒するかもしれないと薄々感じていましたが。
What could you mean by that?
この辺りではここが一番適当な宿ですから。
So it wasn't a fated reunion that was destined to happen.
そうですね。
I couldn't come up with a better response as I was twisting my bottoms to get the sitting mat in position. The hostess came.
お待たせしました。それでは皆さん、担当お上がりになってください。
With her announcement for the meal to commence, a man who was attired like a salaryman immediately reached for the food on his plate with his chopsticks. Following suit, I put my hands together.
いただきます。
We were having rice, miso soup, and pickled vegetables. The main dish was a mountain vegetable tempura.
おいしい。
The crispy batter and the pleasant sweetness of the soft pumpkin were simply irresistible. It was so tasty that I even felt the need to dip it in tempura sauce. Or I didn't even feel the need to dip it in tempura sauce. I thought I should try the lotus root next, but the asparagus and green pepper looked just as inviting. Then again, I thought burdock was an autumn plant. And then again, it was the first day of autumn according to the lunar calendar. I won't dwell on the topic further. Despite having been sitting almost for the entire day without doing anything that would make me hungry, my hands and mouth were busy at work. I just kept at the food on my tray for a moment. I had almost finished half a bowl of rice without stopping as I busily put the food in my mouth.
つやつやのご飯が美味しいよ。
It suddenly dawned on me that the girl next to me was watching me. I wasn't so hungry that I was wolfing down the rice, at least I didn't think so. Then again, I was so engrossed in eating, and just now I must have seemed like a starving child. I couldn't quite figure out what to do in this awkward situation. Summon the courage and embarrass, so I won't. Summon the courage. Should I try talking to her? If I manage to befriend her, maybe we could both have a laugh at what just transpired in the past few minutes. Even if we only boarded the same train and ended up staying at the same hotel because of serendipity, such a coincidence could only be explained by fate from my past life. After all, she was the one who initiated our exchange a little earlier, so I'm sure it'll be fine. A girl should not only be charming, but also have the courage to match. Where should I begin?
一人旅？
What on earth was I thinking by saying such a lousy pickup line to someone who only greeted me probably out of simple courtesy? I should have at least said a proper, complete sentence such as, "Are you traveling by yourself?" so that I wouldn't have given her the wrong idea. Right from the get-go, I have been fumbling and making a fool of myself, and yet to leave her with a positive impression. She'd probably think I was rather dumb.
そのですね。
The more anxious I became, the less control I have over my tongue, and my mind turned into a blank sheet, unable to operate. I think I just messed up. Jeez, what gave me the bright idea to explain myself to her? I mean, she must be bewildered at this point.
そんなにかしこまらずに普通に話してくれて構いませんよ。
ロードセーブするファイルを選んでね。タイトル画面に戻る？
Right, why don't we stop it there? This is audapostrophe, and you've been watching Akaiito HD Remaster running on Nintendo Switch. Yeah, I mean, it's slow to start, obviously, so the first 45 minutes are going to be just a little bit of setup and some character development, but so far I'm pretty intrigued. I mean, this looks like it could be a fairly creepy visual novel, and I've been sort of into those creepy visual novels as of late, but not the extreme kind. Those I could do without, quite frankly. So yeah, check this out. It's at a fairly low price. Like I said, it's a shame we can't turn off the borders, unless I'm missing an option on here. I personally don't like background borders when I'm looking at a 4:3 image.
スキッチを扱っているテレビ人が急に震えこう質ありだと登録される単語の自動文字表示の速さを設定赤い糸
The colored pillar boxes. But yeah, God, 2004, huh? So, well, it's been like 19 years. Anyway, yeah, check it out. I think it's something that we'll enjoy over the next couple weeks. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.